Hello and welcome all. Back at live. We are back at the scene for the second part of this day. And we will start with a new video. Well, it's an old video, but we will start with the video of Predatortour Sweden 2018. And in like 5 minutes, I will be back with the latest news about the leaderboard. There is some big changes on the leaderboard, but like I said, I will start in the movie, and then I will come back with the leaderboard as soon as possible. So sit back and enjoy the movie. Welcome to Predatortour Sweden 2018. I will welcome you all, and we are so excited and so ready for this event. We start with ceremony opening, and after that we have team captains meeting to inform all participants, including the team captains, about the situation, about the rules and regulation and last news, weather forecast, and tell them about the boat inspection for tomorrow. So everybody is excited, everybody is informed. We are ready to rock and roll, and see you at Predatortour 2018. Download the app and follow all participants live at the leaderboard. Free app, Predatortour, in the App Store or in Google Play Store. Download it and watch Predatortour 2018 Sweden. Day 1 Predatortour Sweden. At the back there you can see the boat inspection. Every morning is a boat inspection to check for safety equipment and equipment if everybody has the right stuff with them. It's really sunny weather today, flat calm, almost no wind, so we can go out safe. There's a little bit of fog today, but that's disappearing, I think, in maybe 1 hour, and then we are free to start. The start will be every morning at 8 o'clock, and you can follow all the participants on the live leaderboard. So download the app, it's for free, and you can see all the participants battle for the biggest fish. The login on the app is only for participants. You can use the app by going to the menu and live leaderboard, and it's for free, and watch us.
To be a good competition with lots of international teams and
a lot of big pikes.
To get on the top 3 you have to go over 110 in the average length of the fishes on your board.
I'm from here, so I have had a lot of good catch big fish here, but it's a competition and it's a lot of people and they know the area also, so it's quite hard.
We will start to fish around islands on a little bit deeper water and go into a little bit shallower water.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. We will continue with the movie as I am done. We have some changes on the leaderboard. While we were back in a pause, now we are back. And in the meantime, something happened. Sad but true. We had to disqualify one of the teams. And why is that? They didn't play by the rules. Before the tournament start, we informed all participants that we fish by the rules of the Dutch Predator Tour, the Holland edition. And there were some problems with one team, and they didn't follow the rules exactly as we said so. And for us, there is only one punishment, so to say, and that is disqualified. It hurts me when I have to do it, but everybody who knows me, I'm a fair play guy. We do it by the rules, or we don't do it at all, and well, they are out of the competition. For me, it's not necessary to inform what team it was. It doesn't matter at all, but compared to that, we have a new leaderboard, and I will switch to the leaderboard again. Well, the technique won't. Why is it not working? Well, we have a small failure in the software system. Okay, one moment, I will be back. Yes, well, it's still technique, so this can happen always. Well, we go to the leaderboard. And as you can see, we have a new number 2, Jan Boomsma and Joko Visser. And the number 1 is still team number 9 from Latvia. I think they are hard to beat, but Jan Boomsma is a good fisherman. He knows what to do. He's also ranking up high in several competitions, so maybe he can challenge them. And on the third place, well, they are still in the top 5. Martin and Christians, and Tom and Ruud on place 4. And Lucas and Adam on place 5. So keep an eye on the leaderboard. It's still possible to have other teams from below to a runner-up, because we have the rules that you have to catch 3 pikes, 3 Zanders and 3 perches. And one fish can be the difference between ending up last or way up high in the top 10. If you want to have our app, it's free. It's sponsored by Hummingbird, Mink Cota and Talon. So you can download it in the App Store for free and put it on your device. It's for Android and iPhone. And if you don't want to have a free app, you can also go to our website, www.predatortour.com, and watch the leaderboard at the website. Well, for now, no more news. I'm waiting for the teams to come in with the live link. So if you want to see your relation, give them a call, give them a push. We are sitting here ready to get them in the live streams. So if you want to see them, just say, okay, call in, and then you're back at the show. For the participants, well, they are busy as we speak, so I think they won't see us in the live broadcast. But for all the people back home, the competition will be fished until 4 o'clock, 1600. And after that, we will see who will win the Alternative Predator Tour 2020. Well, in the times towards 4 o'clock, we will come with some giveaways. We still have some Mercury giveaways. If you want to make a chance on the Mercury giveaways, the sunglasses, the buffs, the pen and the floater. The giveaway action is also on our Predator Tour Instagram, so you can see over there what to win. And well, I see you guys soon. Be back. Stay tuned. We go back to our movie and we come back to you if we have some new news.
most difficult this time of year is because the winter was so late. We are in a period where I think there will be both post-spawning fishes and pre-spawning fishes. So you need to find those, hopefully those post-spawning.
I think they spawn in different periods. Yes, so some fish are spawning and some are not. So it's because the ice was laying very long. So I think you have when we were test fishing, we had a lot of followers, but we had also pikes that strike. But I think it's in the base that you catch the most now, maybe in the or around the base, the spawning areas.
We have a plan to stand in our place in 3 days now, so not much moving.
We'll just keep grinding on the spot and hope for the best.
As you can see, we are in a shallow area of the Predatortour on a shallow bay. The water temperature is rising up till about 8 degrees. So outside this bay, the temperature is about 3 to 4 degrees. So this is a very nice place for spawning for the pike. So we see that they catch some pikes, but smaller pikes. So the males, and just waiting that they catch the bigger pike here. So as you can see, a lot of boats are here, 6 boats at the moment. So we hope we can film some action. See you later.
Was a great day. The fishing was tough, you know, lots of the fish has already spawned and they are now on the edges, and still you have some fish in the bay, so it's a middle time. But I think we have a plan to fill up the paper, and we did, and also we caught a nice one, 112.5, so I think we are satisfied for the first day, Pierre.
The fishing was better than expected today. We caught like 7 pikes and most of them were over 90 centimeters.
Yeah, with 2 better fish around 110, 114 centimeters. So yeah, great day.
Today was kind of good for us, for Team Mojo Boats. We're sitting in 5th place, so we're really happy. We are kind of close to 6 meters in total. We're gonna get that tomorrow, so we're kind of confident. But it was really rough ride to the spot, and really rough ride back because the winds picked up and it was really messy. So it's good with the new rule that the competition ends by 4 with the app closing, because we don't need to break anything driving like maniacs in the bad weather. So that's really great.
Today was a really fantastic day on the water. We surveyed all the boats. All the participants were catching a lot of fish. they catched 262 pikes and 47 pikes over meter. So that was really amazing to see that and to follow it on the app. So you can also follow this at home. So I've one hint for you.
Download the app.
Today our main focus was to fish the areas we found on pre-fishing, to fish them really well. Just to really sort out every inch of those places.
Fish who is still inside, they don't want some straight baits. For us, gliders, jerk bait has been the most successful, like buster jerk, and fish it quite fast. I think it's more aggressive strikes.
Definitely, because we lost some strike as well, so they don't take the bait really good.
So, but if you go out, the fish who have spawn or far out, I think they take more straight baits and they are feeding. So you really need to choose your spot and your right baits for the situation. So it's a tricky situation, but it's fun and so many big fish has been caught on the 1 meter today. It's really amazing.
My name is Felix Frey. I'm actually here as a sponsor. I'm representing Rebel Cell, I'm representing Lawrence Electronics and Hobie Kayaks. So we are bringing some stuff to the prize table. We're bringing lithium batteries from Rebel Cell. We're bringing a sonar from Lawrence and some vouchers from Hobie. And it's actually super funny. We have 2 kayak teams competing against all of these boat teams. They are doing really well the first day. So we're super happy. And we're super happy to be a part of this great competition that's super well organized. And yeah, we're just enjoying our time here.
In the competition is you can start also by car. It's called the jump start. So we start at the same harbor as the boat guys. So at 8 o'clock in the morning we got the signal, we can go out wherever we want. You can go at some quiet areas where the wind is not blowing that much, or you can go where not that many boats are, so you got a lot of space for your own. So we can fish all the spots we pre-fished without get disturbed by other fishermen.
Have you ever fishing with the kayaks? And of course when you take the jump start, because starting from the harbor is not really an option for us. All the fast speeding boats, we always be last with the kayak. So we take the jump start and we drive to a remote area, we hope, so we can fish find some fishing areas for ourselves and not have to compete with all the boats all the time.
Het is al bijna denk ik tijd om te knallen. We gaan nog even snel een rondje lopen door het parcours. Iedereen is eigenlijk aan het positioneren. Af en toe een beetje meer, een beetje helpen.
Het plan is de 3 meter snoeken vangen vandaag. We moeten upgraden, we hebben de kaart vol. Maar we moeten zien te upgraden, dus we gaan een beetje risico's nemen vandaag.
Van Predatortour dag 2, Predatortour Zweden. Volg iedereen vandaag via de leaderboard. Download de app. Dus dan zie je ook gelijk zodra de vis is goedgekeurd. Dat duurt meestal 1 of 2 minuten na vangst. Dan staat hij op de leaderboard, dus ik verwacht vandaag best wel wat verschuiving. Yes, the start was a very spectacular. Spectacular. Spectacular! Angel! Now the start was very spectacular, and 62 boats are on the big lake Vanern, as you can see. It's 5 times bigger than Lake IJsselmeer in the Netherlands, or 6 times bigger. It's very rough waters, and the weather is cloudy, so I think it's a very good day for pike fishing. Temperature here of the water is at the moment 2.93 degrees. We're heading here on about 13-14 meters water, and on the other side you see a lot of shallow bays with some houses, some structure. It's very tricky because we have a lot of rocks on the water that you can see, but we have our Navionics map, so we can see everything. We can zoom in, and then you can see some structures and also the depth, so you can see everything very good on your Navionics card. It's necessary that you have the card on a big lake like this. Okay, we're heading on. See you later. Bye bye. Now we are going to another small lake, bay, and we drive through this small channel. It's very shallow water, about 1 meter, so we have to watch out for the engine. And this is a very nice area, and we had also we see a lot of beavers. I don't know if it is correct, but beavers, you know, the big, they eat on the trees. So sometimes we have spot them here, and here is a small way. Sometimes we see a small way into the beach, going to the land.
Hi guys, so we're here in the control room for Predatortour 2018 Sweden, and well, all the participants are using the app now. They take a picture of the fish they caught on the measure board, send it in to us for inspection, and we measure the fish and make a definitive call, and then it gets on the leaderboard. We measure the fish in millimeters, so that's quite we have to concentrate really on that, but we can do that. And as you can see on the leaderboard, it's a very tight race at the moment. There's just a few centimeters between the numbers 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and so on. So yeah, it's very spectacular at the moment what's happening in the leaderboard. We track all the boats with the GPS system, yeah. And even this morning we saw some boats, well, not the boats, but driving over the road because they're allowed to do a jump start this year, so they are allowed to drive for a certain time. And we saw some of the boats still on the road at around 11 o'clock, and then they called us, hey, we're having some difficulties finding the good area, and we said, yeah, we saw it on the system, so yeah, we can track anyone who's participating in the tournament, yeah.
Hello, I'm Andy, Sport Fishing Dalsland. We're sitting here at one of our places, directly at the Lake Vanern. And Vanern is a huge lake. It's about 5,500 square kilometers with a length of almost 200 kilometers. So that's very big. And one of the questions I get a lot from our guests, especially when they come here for the first time, where should I start fishing on such a huge lake? Well, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about that, and hopefully it's helpful. So I want to take you for a short ride in my boat and show you some spots and tell something more about the lake. The coastline of Vanern consists out of hundreds or maybe even thousands islands, small shallow bays, big weed lines, and there it can be very efficient fishing with, for example, jerk baits, spinner baits, especially in the spring when the fish go up to the shallow part.
Hello everybody, a short interruption of the movie. We still have the Mercury giveaway active. What can you win for maybe new viewers? We have the original Mercury buff. We got the Mercury sunglasses, a nice pen to write down all your catches, a floater for your keys, so if you lose your keys in the water, they will float and not sink to the bottom. And last but not least, the Mercury lip gloss. If you want to have it, go to our Instagram account, Predatortour Instagram, and leave a nice comment behind, and maybe you win the most fun or nice or whatever. If you leave a nice comment, you maybe can win. We have 4 items to give away. We already gave away 4 goodies and still 4 to go. So if you want to have goodies, go to our Instagram account, Predatortour, and maybe you will be the lucky winner. Back to the movie.
These are absolute the places to be. However, the fishing in the shallow parts and the bays can be very efficient in spring, especially when the water heats up and the pikes move in to start spawning. Often it's a very short period of the year that the bigger fish are in such areas. What can be really good then is to go out on the deeper open water and hit the structures. As you can see here, for example, we're now moving over 9 meters of water, but there's a lot of rocks and stones in the area around here. And especially when the water is colder, it can be really good to fish around these structures. And that's often the best way to hit the bigger fish. And you can practice that all year round. Myself, I prefer spin fishing. I think it's the most fun. But of course it can be really good if you go out trolling or vertical fishing. Any way you like to fish, and the lake offers really much possibilities for all kind of techniques. Like I said, it's a very huge lake and it needs some time to get to know it. So don't be disappointed if you come here for the first time and you do not directly catch your 10 kilo plus fishes. Give it some time, learn to know it, respect it, because it can be really dangerous also. And the fun of Lake Vanern is also if you think you know the trick, then the next day it's completely different again.
Today was super tough. We caught a lot of fish today, really a lot of fish. We had more fish than we caught yesterday. We felt the pressure of being number one at the start. But then we caught a lot of fish, but no upgrades at all. It was like 98, 97, 1 meter, 1 meter 2, I think it was.
1.3
1.3,
also.
yeah. But no upgrades at all. And then the Danish team, I think, they passed us. And there was a big fish caught by a German team, I think, 119. So we felt the pressure, yeah. And then Jasper caught a 1 meter 13, I think.
I think 13.
Yeah, 1 meter 13. Yeah. And then the electric engine had some mechanical problems. The wind started picking up and we were just so frustrated. And then at like the final 9 minutes, I just was talking to Andy about, you know, getting a fix for the electrical engine. And we just put the boat on the petrol engine and just started to fish the last spot that we wanted to fish that day. And then I was, you know, come on, one final last fish. And then we hooked at 1 meter 21.5, I think it was finally accounted for. So it's such an amazing feeling, yeah.
Back in the game.
Back in the game, fully back in the game. So back in the leaderboard as well, because we lost the first place, but now we firmly got the first place after day 2. So really, really excited. Super, super cool.
With an average of?
An average of 1 meter 13.5, I think. So that's quite okay.
The smallest pike is 1.5. So we can.
We got some room
get
to
an upgrade.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Frank is the big boss, so to say, of Lundboat Europe. And Frank, what's your first impression of the Swedish edition on the lake?
Yeah, again, it was a great event. Last year it was the first time, second time, and it was a good event, good organized, and we had luck with the weather.
That's for sure.
All the ice was gone, the pikes were there, but unfortunately today we cannot find them. But we have a good tournament. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Who did you bring? Can you introduce your crew?
Yes, of course. Behind me, Anik, Chris, Bas, Rutger, Jean-Marc, Christian, Rocky, Marco, and natuurlijk Johnny.
Which team did perform the best, so to say?
I think Jean-Marc and Johnny.
Yes, Zander. Can you tell me about your experience?
Well, it's a good experience to fish in the Vanern. The first day was better for us, and today it's a bad day. We have no good fishing, no find the big fish, but it's always fun to participate to Predatortour. And in a few weeks we go in Holland also. This. And we
try again.
We try to do better there, but it's a good tournament. With the level is high, I think. I think the level is very high.
And on second place, so to say.
The second place, I think Christian and Marco. Yeah.
Okay, can you tell something about your experience here?
It was a good experience. We had catch some fish in the bays and make the lice full, and then we try to catch the big ones in deeper water on the rocks, and and it works. But
this was your second time, because you participate also the first edition in Sweden, so to say. What's the difference between that edition and this edition?
Bigger edition, it's more, how can I say it? The parcours was bigger and more fishes, bigger fishes. So it was a great event.
I will say party on tonight, and see you all soon in the European Predatortour.
Predatortour Sweden, day 3, let's go!
We're Team 26 and we're in 5th place, and it's the last day of the competition. I can hardly describe how exciting I am. Last 2 days have been pretty good for us, but still it's insanely how exciting the competition is, because there's so many big fish has been caught. So we had a game plan for the 3rd day, and we actually changed that. We will just do the same thing we did last 2 days, not take any gamble, because we have a few spots in the area here as well, and normally that was for the 3rd day, but we don't want to take any risk. We just want to try the spots we know we have been checking last few days, because we know what's around and what's been going on, and if we go out over here, there's been intensely fished, and yeah, you just don't know. Maybe you come up to a spot and it's been screwed by a lot of fishing last days. So we're just gonna stick to the plan, and basically what we did every day is we try some of our spots we know they produced, and just try some new spots as well.
So we are August and Andreas from Team Marine, team number 6. That we are in 4th place right now, and yeah, we're gonna hammer them down to day 2. We have 2 fish that we need to change that are under 100 centimeters that we wanna exchange by at least a 105 centimeter pike.
The average is around 108 centimeter for us, but we want to increase that.
We found the pike pretty much deeper than all the other teams, and fishing really cold water. So the pikes we get are not even close to spawning yet. So yeah, that's our trick.
We are team number 5, sitting on 3rd position. The first day we were fishing on special spots that we found out during the training, but in the end they only held small fish. So yesterday we had a pretty good day. We caught big fish to 114 centimeters. And today we try to continue and win the tournament.
We are team number 61 from Denmark, and we are in 2nd place now. And yesterday we caught a lot of big fish, and the biggest one was 116, so it was nice fishing.
Morning, team number 2, placed number 1 at the moment. We were placed number 1 after day 1 as well. Pretty excited about the final day. Pretty excited about the final day because we had a really intense day yesterday. I think we were a bit nervous yesterday because we were on the lead. I think we're a bit more relaxed now, but we're dying to take it home now. So really excited to fish the final day. We got a good lead, but we're not here yet, so we need to step it up and get one really big fish that will be golden. We got a 1.5 meter that we need to upgrade. We're gonna stick to our plan, most of it. Gonna do some other stuff as well, things we've been testing during pre-fishing. We're really excited, and we'll know at 3 o'clock who's the winner of the Predatortour 2018 in Sweden. So hopefully it will be us. So thanks for the support so far, guys. Really means a lot.
And now I'm staying here until Friday, so I want to have one day with 113.5 seven. And can you tell me the secret?
Well, the secret is I'm a fishing guide here at Sportfishing Dalsland, and I'm available. So if you're staying here till Friday, you can still book me seats. So that's no problem at all.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Mercury Insider. We are coming to you from our global headquarters in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and our brand new assembly line right here. This is where it all happens. Now, if you remember, in Miami, we had some big news for you. We told you about the 3.4 liter V6 outboards. But before we get to our big news today, let's take a look back at the Miami Boat Show, because remember, we had a very strong message for the marketplace.
And I'll only remind you one thing today. This is only step one for 2018.
So now's the time. We are excited to officially announce the all-new 4.6 liter V8 outboard lineup. That includes the 250 and 300 Verado, the 250 and 300 four-stroke, and the 225, 250, and 300 C Pro, as well as the 200 through 300 Pro XS, and the 3.4 liter V6 175 Pro XS. All four-stroke, all setting a new benchmark in the marine industry. So what do our customers think of the new product? Let's head out to Lake X and find out.
We have been waiting for this engine for 2 or 3 years now, and it has been worth the wait.
Awesome. That motor is phenomenal. I think it's a game changer.
Oh, it's great.
I thought it was awesome.
First impressions of this product are just amazing. This has been a product that I believe has been in waiting for a long time.
I really like the design of it. I thought that it was way faster compared to the competitors. I thought the response was awesome.
Being four-stroke, being very quiet, being very responsive. Now with the joysticks, everything else about it is just going to be a very positive move in the right direction.
It's a lighter engine, it's got more horsepower and acceleration than I ever anticipated. Without a test drive, it can't do it any justice looking on the showroom floor.
We are a Stingray dealer, so the boat that we took out was a Stingray 212, and usually we would order that with a 150 Mercury, or we would get usually a 200 Yamaha. Would be a no-brainer. It would be faster than the Yamaha. It would be more fuel efficient, I think, and I think the technology behind it, along with the new design, was the seller itself.
This motor is going to put Mercury at the head of the outboard industry, period. There is nothing like this out there.
We aren't even halfway through 2018, and already Mercury Marine is completely changing its V6 and V8 outboard platform. It's all four-stroke. It's all setting a new benchmark in the marine industry. We certainly hope that these new products will help you have a banner sales year, and we thank you again for being such a trusted and valued partner to Mercury Marine. Enjoy the products, and we'll see you on the water.
When you find fish, you need to stay on fish. That's why we built Raptor. It doesn't just stop your boat, it never stops stopping. Raptor relentlessly keeps you on fish by anchoring in securely, then keeping you there automatically. With active anchoring, Raptor senses when wind, waves, or current threaten to push you off your spot. Then it fights back by doubling down, re-anchoring automatically, and securing you until you are ready to move. That's how Raptor keeps you locked in. But the perfect hold starts with another intelligent feature. Auto Bottom Mode detects what you're anchoring into and adjusts the force accordingly, so you get enough power to dig into rocks without getting stuck in mud or silt. And when it's time to move, just press a button to pull Raptor back up. We packed it with more anchor retraction force to get you out of anything and onto your next spot easily. It's the only anchor that starts strong, stays strong, and doesn't leave until you're good and ready. And that reliability is backed by Raptor's rock-solid construction and extruded aluminum brackets. Every inch, every hinge, and every component is tested rigorously and built with legendary Minn Kota toughness. So it'll take a beating and come back for more, year after year. Raptor is controllable from anywhere. It comes with a wireless remote and has an available wireless foot switch. Plus, it's part of the One Boat network, which means you can raise and lower it directly from your Humminbird fish finder, an iPilot remote, or the Raptor mobile app. No matter where you are on your boat when you find your spot, you're always one touch of a button away from being able to anchor in with Raptor. And once you do, Raptor won't quit until you get what you came for. It senses the bottom, the wind, the waves, and anything else that threatens your ability to stay on fish. Then it hits back to keep you on your spot all day long. Because Raptor is relentless. And it's only from Minn Kota.
Goedemiddag, good afternoon, guten Mittag. Third day, last day of the Predator Tour. We've been here now with the whole team for a few days, and it's, well, personally, I think it's inspiring, it's fun, it's exciting, frustrating. People all over Europe having no clue what the weather is over there, how the conditions are. And it's fun. What we do here is unique. It's the first time in Europe this has been done for a competition this size. We really look forward to this incoming competitions. We had some great interviews. Sean Witt, Bram from Mercury, Frans Nestor, etc. It was really nice, but quite important, and you really know him. But the man behind and in front of the scenes, I present you Evert Ousdam, the founding father of the Predator Tour. Welcome, senor.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's pretty strange to be interviewed myself.
Yeah.
Normally, I prefer as a person more behind the scenes than in front.
Yeah.
Well, from the military time, I'm used to speak in large groups.
Yeah.
My English is.
Yeah,
but I think the people don't mind it.
No.
So,
yeah.
And if they do, I'm sorry. I can only apologize.
It is what it is.
Yeah, finding founder of Predator Tour. Well,
Yeah.
we go back a long way. It was 2009 for the first edition, and before that, I wrote the script for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a small boy, I was already thinking, seeing the tournaments in the USA, well, this can be the future, and why only in the USA and not in
by
Europe?
the way, that has always been your idea behind the Predator Tour, the way they do it in the US.
Yeah, well, I had some ideas, of course, to create a competition.
Mm-hmm.
I fished since I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I always had ideas. Well, I like to organize things.
Yeah.
And this for me is also a thing to organize. It's in my genes to get things going, and I always had it in my mind to organize an event. And the final push I get in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
They organized a competition over there, and it was catch and kill. And the teams who brought in the most dead pikes, they won the competition. And then that was for me the final push to show the world, in a small way, of course, show the world that we can organize competitions without killing and take care of pikes and do catch and release and show there's more than only bringing pikes in like a garbage bag.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I started to create the tournament.
Yeah.
And from the beginning, that's why it mentioned in the name tour, we toured around Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We toured towards Norway, and also to a friend of mine in Ireland, Herman Molenaar. He does the Predator battle. But to organize a big event, for me it was much more difficult to travel around the world. You pick up your whole organization, and then I decided to bring it all to the Netherlands and let all the participants come to me instead.
Yeah. And this has evolved from now 11 years, I think.
Yes, 2009 was the first one.
If you compare this one to last year, it makes sense, incomparable. But how has it changed from the beginning until what you have done here?
That's a huge step. The first edition was more like, okay, we go with a group of friends and we do a nice fishing competition. And although in the first days we have serious sponsors, and we already gave away boats and so on, and engines, and it was right from the beginning, like I tried to build it like in a professional way, and not in a hobby way. I already took it serious. Not everybody saw it, because there are some people said, it doesn't work, and it only works in the USA. And for me that was even more a drive to get it going. And I think, to be fair, once Frank Helming from Lundboats stepped in together with Mercury, then the real spin-off came. Because, well, I have to give him the credits. Frank is more like a guy who is say, okay, we do this together, and not behaving like a sponsor or a partner and sitting back like this. No, he was constantly trigger me. We can improve this, and what do you think about this? And behind the scenes, he was really pushing me to get me going, and I think to create big tournaments. I always say, we do it for the participants, and in a way it is. But you need strong people as sponsors, and I mention now sponsors because I never see them as sponsor. I only want to talk as partner and premium partner, and my relations with all the partners are so good, and I see them even as friends or really good colleagues, and we get it really going.
Yesterday I spoke, of course, with the sponsors, and what you tell is really true. They all the minute you decided to do the Predator like this, they were all in it directly and said, yes, go for it. So it's about trust as well, and knowing things will work out. All the technical stuff, has that changed since 11 years until now? And do you think that has improved the fishing a lot?
Well, I think we have two technical things. It's one at the fishing, of course, when you see where we started 11 years ago, like the units from Hummingbird until now. I use myself the Hummingbird Solix, combined with the Ultrax, the Talons, and it's all connected in the one boat network. Press some buttons, you can, when you push your screen, your Ultrax, the front trolling engine of Minn Kota, sorry, it goes running by himself. You can one push of the button, the talons go down and up. So it's, my boat is almost a computer.
A robot.
And also to the back at the scene of the Predator Tour, when we start the first edition, the competition ended at 4 o'clock. We collect all the cameras because we used I don't know how it's, but it's the
normal film.
The normal film, and we had to bring them to a guy waiting in a car, and he drives to a Photoshop and developed it, and we get back and check the photo with.
Oh man! And nowadays. How does it in 1 second?
It's in the CMS and we check it on the computers. But we also had it in between that the people brought their own cameras and get out the SD cards and we check it together and so on.
A lot of work.
So the technique it's went like crazy in only 11 years. But you also see it with your mobile phone. We like 10 years ago, everybody, well, there were mobile phones, but now it's like computers.
Your complete life.
But I'm lucky we have it because that's why we have our own web app.
Yeah.
And I think for the participants, but it's also good for the fish. They catch the fish, make a picture, release it right away.
Yeah.
That was also always my goal. No hassling around with fish, keeping them in nets
or in bunds
or in live wells or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it must be close to an ordinary fishing day. You catch the fish, put it on the measure board, make a picture, release it right away.
I've been here now for 3 days and we are really on the social media. What has happened the last few days has never been seen before. What's your feeling about, and I asked this question all 3 days to all the people, what's your feeling about what we have done, what you have done with this edition of the Predator Tour?
Yeah, I think we make a huge step forward. A good friend of mine said, don't you think doing this will be the standard for the coming years? And I said, yes, I hope so. This will be the bottom standard and it will grow bigger from here. One of the things, and I can't blame the participants because they are on focus mode for fishing, but what I already learned now is when we have the real Predator Tour going on, we must bring camera guys to the boats because the participants are too busy with fishing. And I understand it because I fish myself as well. And once the heat is on, fish.
That's the main thing.
Keep on hammering. But that's already in my mind. Okay, we must bring in the camera guys and.
So it was already very professional, but it's going to be more professional, more commercial, and more on social media and more visible what's being done on the boats. And on the whole tour.
Well, sometimes I get the positive critics from, why don't you do it more professional with professional live streams and so on. I'm willing to, but that will cost a lot of money.
Yeah, true.
And it's like really a lot of money. So this for me, it's in a scale from 1 till 10. I feel this as a 6, so I have 4 more steps to improve. And I think, as I look back in the 2009 edition, how we started and how we continue as we speak, I think we are always on the move and in the way up.
Do you see this kind of competition grow, not only for yourself but also for the other competitions? Do you think this will be copied?
Well, I don't see it as a copy because
my words.
But a copy seems negative. But I think my colleagues, and I can mention them, I got good relations with NKS, the Dutch Zander League. I got good connection with the Ross Honey from the World Predator Classic, of course. Good connection with Christian Bieret from Lure Masters, and I know that Christian is already busy with live feeds. Maybe not like us, but I think we motivate each other to step up.
Right.
And in that way, in a healthy, professional way, we keep ourselves also sharp. And we do that in benefit of the participants, but also for our partners. For example, Ross and I, we have the same sponsor with Mercury. So if I do my best for my sponsor
Yeah.
and partner.
Yeah.
And Ross does the same. It's
his
all in the
benefit as
benefit
well.
for Mercury.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's more than
The win-win situation.
It's a win-win
great for each
situation
other.
for
Yeah.
everybody.
If you're allowed to dream, what's your dream with this? And skip the Corona fact because we know that's a fact. What's the bigger picture in this?
Well, the bigger picture is I had a dream when I created this, that the winner of the competition will go with his car and boat combination, drive in a big football stadium, holding up a check with 1 million euros,
Okay.
and a full stadium yelling yes, yes, yes. They do it in the USA. I don't think, and I won't believe,
you're Dutch,
that can be happening in Europe, because I think it's not our culture. But I want to go to that point. And especially, you see it that fishing is always, when you say fishing in Europe, the people always think it's the old guy watching the floater and sitting under the umbrella. But I think sport fishing is way beyond that. And with big competitions like this, we can show the people that sport fishing is serious business. And also to the commercial fishing industry, that we are also a serious party, because when you see it with a competition like this, well, not in the Corona competition, so to say, but in big competition, they come from all over Europe. They do pre-fishing, so they come to the Netherlands maybe 2-3 times per year only for pre-fishing. They use the gas, they use the restaurants, so the economic behind it is maybe much bigger than the commercial fishing. So we can show the people, hey, we are also in it.
Interesting.
So that's also in my mind, and that's also why I use the lead free together with Sport Fishing Netherlands. Take good care of the environment, and don't leave your rubbish after a fishing day. Clean it up. Use good materials. Behave
Comparable
yourself.
to a soccer player that doesn't leave his shit on the playground. It's similar. It should be similar as well. Besides the last 11 years, today and the last 2 days, how's it been for you? I've been there, so I know a bit, but has it been really for you?
Me, it's always an excited moment, the moment we start, because you feel as the responsible guy for the whole tournament. It's always okay. Does it work? Do we have the live streams? No failures with internet. Will it work? No accidents on the water. And for me, it's always like that. But to be fair, in like the first hours, it already felt okay. We have it under control. It works. And this will be our new standard. And from here we can build up into the future and improve it. So back to your question, I'm a happy guy, and I think it works. And I hope that the viewer also see the improvement and that they are happy as well.
Well, we've been online a few times and live. Responses are growing, people are responding much more. I think if they know next year this will happen as well, audience will grow, and I think you agree with that. Do you have any news for the competitors? Because it's now 2 more hours.
Well, I say always in my own videos, I have a slogan, I
know.
I used it also in Perch Pro. You can catch the winning fish in the last cast. And especially for competition fishing. One moment you think, okay, the competition is over and done. It won't happen anymore. It's raining, wind, but in the last cast the fish can come. And yeah, that's competition fishing. Keep on hammering until the last minute, and then when the competition is really done, then it's done.
Then you'll know.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that competition fishing is totally different than a normal fishing day, because when you do a normal fishing day, you can say, okay, we fish tomorrow again.
Yeah.
But for a competition fisherman, it needs to be done in that time schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I talked a lot about strategy. Most people do not take in mind that's a strategy to win a competition.
Yeah, but even competition fishermen, we saw it with, I think it was a German team. They tried to upgrade the Zanders.
Yeah.
And I think the smallest Zander was maybe like 60.
Yeah, 65.
And they tried to upgrade it to a 70. And that's 10 centimeters.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they had a 45 pike.
44.6.
And a 50 pike. But when you catch an 80 pike, you upgrade right away 40 centimeters.
It's calculating.
But yeah, for me that's more like a darts player. They always see the numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a way, everybody has his own strategy, and for me it's really logical to, okay, we must go all in for the pikes, because those fish are the points to gain, and not an upgrade of 10 centimeters for a Zander.
Yeah.
Go all in.
Yeah, but that's fishing as well, and this is educational as well. I think you can learn from every day you fish. Okay. Anything else you would like to add?
Well, yeah. For the participants, well, the last 2 hours, well, I already said it. Keep on hammering, guys. And for my colleagues, I hope this is an example for you to organize shows like this as well. I hope my partners of the event are happy with it as well. Well, maybe that's what I need to mention. Since the coronavirus started, for me it was important. Okay, this is situation. All competitions are cancelled.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the sign. Okay, it's cancelled, but it's not over.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I got a responsibility for my partners, and I get an agreement, not only on paper, but only a gentleman agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, every year you have your moment of fame.
Yeah.
And that's why I decided, okay, the Predator Tour goes on, no matter what. And then I came to myself, okay, the Predator Tour goes on no matter what, but how will you do it? And that's why I try to find a solution. Okay, we do an online show. And not only, for me it was too easy to say, okay guys, see you next year.
And if I can add something to this, if I look at this both personally and professionally, I think you've given your partners a really good stage. Maybe even an extra stage compared to a normal one.
Yeah, I think if you compare this with all the movies and commercial and the interviews, of course, because every partner, sponsor and premium partner was invited. So I think I did in that way a better job than normal. And of course it's their stage, and they can claim their space in it. And I think for me, for this edition, I did my very best to give everybody the attention they deserve.
You did. We were here. Okay, thanks. And the team here, thanks as well.
Yeah, that's always my policy as well. When I do the big shows, I always give all the credits to the team and never to myself. Because I'm always in the front, and because it's my tournament and I can't change it. But without you guys, I can't do streams. I can't do the thing Hans is doing with the web.
Yeah, but I've known you now for little time. I've been here new, so I can speak quite open about that. I feel added to a team and not he's the king. And
no, I don't hope so.
No, you're the most handsome of the both of us. No, but the team, for me personally as well, if I see how things work here, how smoothly, and from Friday on, very relaxed. And if there's a bit stress, it's no problem at all. So it's really cool.
The only sad part of it and yeah, is that my original plan was, of course, to do it at Dordrecht, but okay, that's been said. But we also had a short meeting in here with more people coming in. But we need to have the 1.5 meter distancing. So yeah, we can only run the show, and we need to work a little bit harder. We do it now with 4 people. Normally we have at least double.
Yeah.
Maybe triple, but yeah, I have to send all the people away. It is what it is.
It is what it is. And you managed.
We managed
really well. Okay. Thanks for this.
Well, then we go back to the show.
Back to the show.
And maybe we can get in some movies.
Yeah.
And wait for 2 hours and
2 hours, 2:15.
And we will see who will win the competition. The unique competition.
The unique competition. Thanks. Ging je lekker, Brett?
Jan wil een live doen, even. Jan Boomsma. Ik zal hem even terug willen.
Ja, ik vind het goed.
Komt er allemaal uit? Ze zijn er door tweede geworden nu.
Serieus? Yeah. Well, back again. Just been interviewed. Now back in the studio. I think we have the number 2 on the phone. So we wait. Yes, here he is. Hello, Jan. Welcome at the show.
We have a nice Pike in net.
That's always good.
3.9. And we will show you now.
That's a nice one. That's a beauty.
So now we're going to release back the water.
What's the length, Jan?
1 meter, 3 centimeters, and 9 millimeters.
That's a beautiful fish. Catching a big fish like that is one, but catching him in a competition, that's really tremendous.
Yeah. We had a little bit of hard day because we just lost another one. Probably bigger, fishing.
Okay, but then you are rewarded, so to say.
Yeah.
How's the fishing so far?
It's really tough because it's really windy and we are now in a little bit sheltered bay area. And there we can fish without the lake is too much waste.
Okay. And without telling any spots, where are you at now?
We are now on the Vanern.
Okay.
For the last couple of days on the Haringvliet area, it was yesterday fish by the wind.
Okay.
So we decided this morning to drive, take a long drive to the Vanern.
Okay, there she goes.
So we have little bit less than 2 hours to go, so we're trying to get another one.
Yes, then I won't take any time of you, Jan. I will say keep on hammering and try to be on the number 1 spot. You're close.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Yes, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Keep on hammering.
I'll see you again soon.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye.
Krijg je nog een dikke unit binnen?
Wat weet je? Okay, back to the studio again. That was Jan. I think catching a meter pike during a fishing day is one, but catching in a competition, that is really something. The leaderboard, what's the status of the leaderboard of those guys? They are in the second place, right?
Okay, they were third. Again.
Okay, Wim, come in the show.
Yes, Jan's team was whole time third a long time, and like we discussed in the interview, things can change at the last moment. Jan and Jelko are now second. The Estonian guys are still number one, but the difference is only 15 points. That's really nothing.
No.
Really nothing.
How can they improve? What's the smallest fish?
I think I know Perch is difficult and doesn't make big amounts of centimeters.
The Perch is like 42 and 41.
Yeah.
So that's, well, they can maybe catch 45, 46.
Yeah. But an extra meter pike will do the job, and a 10 centimeter longer Zander. But I think you are aiming for the pike.
They are. He said we are at the wrong mirror. Well, I know that as well, and so there can be big pikes. So another big, maybe 110, can do the trick for them.
Yeah.
And what about the number 3?
I'm making a comparison pictures. Okay, number 3. Well, they are on a similar score, but their Perches are really
small Perches.
Small Perches,
34, 32, and 32.
Yeah. They've done a great job with the Zander, the snoekbazen. So that's their advantage. 239.2 centimeter Zander,
and they have a small pike of 83. So that's improvable as well.
Team Jan and Jelko are more near to meter pike. But the Zander are under 70. It's tiny.
Yeah.
They've all got a chance. I wanted to compare number 1 as well. Well, the number 1 team in Estonia, their advantage is yesterday they got huge pike.
114.
Zander, 83, 80, 67. That's great. Small Perch, like it mostly is in these kind of competitions. Their advantage is big pike. I have not had really good information if they are catching lately. So, like he always says, keep on hammering, things can change. And that's not only for the first 3, also the complete top 10 and even top 20.
Yeah. How many teams are qualified as we speak? That's
27 teams.
27 teams are qualified. What does that mean? That they have filled in the lines. So they have 3 pikes, 3 Zanders and 3 Perch. And when you're qualified, you get your 1,000 bonus points, and that means that you are in the higher ranking.
Yeah. And from the 27th until, let's say, top 10, it's centimeters difference. So even there, things can change. Let's say, top 7, all on a tight edge to be able to win.
If you want to see what we were talking about, all the numbers and so on, go to the App Store and download the free app. It's sponsored by Hummingbird, Minkota and Talon, so you don't have to pay any money of it. It's available for Android and iPhone, and you download it for free. And if you don't want to have it on your phone, you also can go to the website, and the leaderboard is also live at www.predatortour.com. Well, thanks for now. We have like 1 hour and a half to go.
Yes.
We will start in a last movie. And well, if you have any news, we will break in the live feed and come back to you, of course.
We hope to break in. We hope to inform you.
Yes.
See you later.
There is still some giveaways from the Mercury goodies. So if you want to have some Mercury goodies with, for example, the buff, the sunglasses, the floater, the pen and the lip gloss, go to our Instagram account, Predatortour Instagram, and leave your comment, and maybe you're the lucky guy to win the Mercury goodie bag. Well, thanks for now. Sit down and relax and watch the movie, and we will be back as soon as possible.
When you find fish, you need to stay on fish. That's why we built Raptor. It doesn't just stop your boat. It never stops stopping. Raptor relentlessly keeps you on fish by anchoring in securely, then keeping you there automatically. With active anchoring, Raptor senses when wind, waves, or current threaten to push you off your spot. Then it fights back by doubling down, re-anchoring automatically, and securing you until you are ready to move. That's how Raptor keeps you locked in. But the perfect hold starts with another intelligent feature. Auto bottom mode detects what you're anchoring into and adjusts the force accordingly, so you get enough power to dig into rocks without getting stuck in mud or silt. And when it's time to move, just press a button to pull Raptor back up. We packed it with more anchor retraction force to get you out of anything and onto your next spot easily. It's the only anchor that starts strong, stays strong, and doesn't leave until you're good and ready. And that reliability is backed by Raptor's rock-solid construction and extruded aluminum brackets. Every inch, every hinge, and every component is tested rigorously and built with legendary Minn Kota toughness, so it'll take a beating and come back for more, year after year. Raptor is controllable from anywhere. It comes with a wireless remote and has an available wireless foot switch. Plus, it's part of the One Boat network, which means you can raise and lower it directly from your Humminbird fish finder, an iPilot remote, or the Raptor mobile app. No matter where you are on your boat when you find your spot, you're always one touch of a button away from being able to anchor in with Raptor. And once you do, Raptor won't quit until you get what you came for. It senses the bottom, the wind, the waves, and anything else that threatens your ability to stay on fish. Then it hits back to keep you on your spot all day long. Because Raptor is relentless. And it's only from Minn Kota.
Anchors have been around as long as man and fish have collided in skinny waters, doing battle in a test of will, skill, and perseverance. In the interest of winning that battle, man has come up with all sorts of ways to hold a boat in place to precisely target his prey. From stakeout stick to concrete-filled can, holding tight is the holy grail. So it's no wonder that eventually man made a mechanized device to accomplish what once took pounds of concrete and long, cumbersome sticks. Enter the shallow water anchor. Fast forward to 2017, because at Minn Kota, we just can't leave well enough alone. We just took the Talon to a whole new level, literally and figuratively. You'll see what we mean shortly, or longly, as the case may be. Anyway, here are 15 reasons why the new Talon from Minn Kota is indeed the ultimate shallow water anchor. Number 1, our electromechanical design makes Talon easy to rig, operate, maintain, and love. No mess, no fuss, no muss, and quicker, quieter deployment. Number 2, Talons deploy vertically as in straight down, so fight that fish around the back of the boat. Stand your ground and know that we'll never get in the way of you and putting that fish right where it belongs, in your tender, loving hands. 3, rough water and soft bottom settings allow you to adapt your conditions like a chameleon. 4, the word Talon alone evokes the image of a fish being effortlessly plucked from the water by a predatory bird, which makes you feel powerful, brave, and fierce. You're welcome. Ready for number 5? How about 5 ways to control your unit? Foot switch, wireless remote, our smartphone app, directly from your Humminbird unit, or right on the Talon control panel. 6, the sleek new design is more aerodynamic and, dare we say, sexy. 7, everywhere you go, you will be the object of much discussion and deliberation among fellow boaters and gas station customers until one of them gets up the gumption to ask, what are those things sticking up off the back of your boat? Number 8, do you have an 8-foot garage door like 67.4% of American families? Well, Talon's unique telescoping design gives you a 94% increased chance of fitting a 12-foot Talon in your garage without tilting. Speaking of tilting, our optional tilt brackets allow you to easily and quickly tilt your Talon into your boats, getting them out of the way for storage or even passing under bridges or spelunking into caves. That's number 9 for those keeping score at home. Boom. Number 10, lights. Yes, work lights make the back of your boat more than a co-English quarters. It's a nocturnal workshop, a rigging wonderland, a literal beacon of light in the pre-dawn darkness. 11, solo boat launches are a piece of cake. Just unhook your boat, back it in, press the button, talon down, and park your rig. 12, as in 12 feet deep. We also have an 8-foot and 10-foot version, but wait, there's more. 13 is an unlucky number, and we're fishermen after all, so we're skipping 13 and leaving the bananas at the dock. 14, we're almost there, and before we get to one last really big thing, how about some little things, like a standard LED depth indicator, built-in wave absorption, and a deployment notification system that will keep you from taking off with talons down. Finally, number 15. How about 15 feet? Yes, the new Talon has a version that plunges to unheard of depths, a full 50% further than the competition's deepest model. We are unlocking more lake and allowing you to talon down in more places and more ways than ever before. Whew. Well, there it is. 15 reasons. To get even deeper, just go to minkotamotors.com.
If you take a look around right now, you can see that it's mid-late fall, water temp is 55 degrees. We're coming up on that period where we're gonna transition from open water to ice, but this is actually one of the best times of the year to take to the water if you like ice fishing. And the reason why is I can scan water a lot quicker out of my boat with a good set of electronics than I can on the ice. And the beauty is, via a micro SD, I can transfer information from this unit to this unit. So the LCD gives me all the functionality I basically have in the boat on ice. By using AutoChart Live, I'm gonna go build my own 1-foot contour interval map, and then I'm gonna be able to take that and enhance what is already a pretty darn decent base map. What that does is when I'm going out first ice, I know exactly where those fish are grouped up, and I can get on them a lot quicker than I can by searching on top of the ice. So if you take a look at my map here, you'll see this point extension sticking out, but it's real general. I know there's a lot more detail there, and typically I'll get a bunch of fish first ice there, and I've always wondered why. So I'm gonna go ahead and map that in a high resolution 1-foot contour interval. Again, we're on a small little lake. There's thousands of them in the state that I'm from, and the survey crews don't go to every single one. So I call these sleeper lakes. And the beauty of AutoChart Live is you can come in and quickly map a lake that may not have any map data, or in the case of this lake, is not a highly detailed map in high resolution. And the process is super simple with AutoChart Live. On this Solix unit, I'm just changing my active panes by touching. I have chart selected. I'm gonna go ahead and hit chart up here, and then I'm gonna select AutoChart Live. I'm gonna turn this on to record. I want to display AutoChart Live, so I'm going to hit that checkbox. I have my hardness layer already selected there. Bottom hardness is checked, and I'm going to go into hardness options, and I want to make sure the color is what I want. Okay, it's set to number 1, good enough. And now we're going to simply mow the lawn, which is nothing other than just drawing transects across this structure at a nice modest speed. 5 miles an hour is a good starting point. And there you go, my map is starting to generate. I'm in a soft bottom area right now, and that color is portrayed as that light orange. So right here I can see I have bottom hugging fish over the soft basin area. And these are the fish I'm gonna be targeting first ice, just off that existing point. So we're gonna go ahead and drop a waypoint on those fish. And that's as simple as touching the screen with the Solix and dropping a waypoint. Look at the rocks there. Part of the reason this spot is so good, down imaging shows me several fish there, is we're coming onto this rock pile. Look at that transition zone from hard to soft. The fish are stacked up there. We got big boulders from fist-sized all the way to great big boulders. And just as importantly is we have mud and a lot of aquatic invertebrates. The base of the food chain that panfish like crappie and bluegill and perch feed on often live in those transition zones, those transitions between hard and soft bottom areas. I got a nice spacing from that first waypoint, so you want to be able to see your previous tracks. On side imaging, I have some fish right there, which I'm seeing on 2D there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're pretty close to that transition zone between hard and soft. And what I'm seeing here is just to my right is the rock pile, and off to my left there is no rock pile. So I'm on the end of the hard spot. That's important to know. And look at that. Those are the fish I'm going to be targeting first ice right there. You can see them on DI and actually get a head count on the number of individuals down there. I'm cranking up the sensitivity. There's several fish, I'd say at least a dozen, so I'm gonna go ahead, drop a waypoint on those fish. I'm gonna go back and target those fish first ice, and we're gonna catch them, and we're gonna have this map with us, and we'll do a waypoint transfer as well. But in general, having the custom map and waypoints and being able to associate the two gives me a really great starting point first ice. The beauty of AutoChart Live with the Zero Lines card is it holds basically an infinite amount of sonar log data. So I can keep building upon this for years, and it's additive. So on each, follow-on trip, I can hit record and just keep building on the maps. I don't have to do it all in one shot. I have the flexibility to map when I want, or maybe the bite gets really slow and I want to do some custom mapping and have lunch. AutoChart Live gives you that option. My contours are getting tighter. That indicates we're coming up on that drop-off. You can see the lines there, pretty general. And now look at AutoChart Live. I got a lot tighter contour lines. Those are denoting a 1 foot change, a lot more detailed than what was existing. And we had just went over a school of fish, so I'm gonna go back into my 4-panel split. I'm gonna go ahead and drag this back. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a finger on it, and we're gonna go ahead and mark a waypoint. Just another area for me to take a look at first ice. And on those hardest spots, it's giving me this pink color, and I can change that in the color palette, but that's showing me the hardest, most prominent parts of the structure. The beauty of this AutoChart Live functionality with Humminbird is that this is private information. This is yours. And you can share it with your buddies if you so choose. I've invested my own time. I want to have this for me. This is the edge I'm giving myself when I come out on the ice. And this isn't hard. I mean, I'm not a professional surveyor. I'm just driving around. But because it's additive, it's refining and getting more accurate the more I drive in this area. But that's a really interesting thing to note here on the map. I'm going to zoom in and show you the steepness of that drop off. And look at that. We're going to come into this really hard patch right here and take a look at down imaging. Here's my 2D sonar. Look at that. This information doesn't lie. It's extremely accurate, and it will help you catch more fish or figure out why there's fish where you are catching them. So literally 20 minutes of driving on each spot. We got 2 beautiful custom maps. I'm able to take what I figure out here to other parts of the lake. Okay, fish are on hard, soft bottom transitions. Look at, we're coming into hard, it's soft, soft, soft. Look at this pink line when I hit it. Okay, we've hit pink, look at that, boom. We're in good rock. I mean, that's nuts on. Very generalized map, I'll zoom in on there. You can see all the lines we've driven over the top. Look how general that is. Look how detailed that is. Plus I get that hardness information.
And we have a live stream. Welcome in the show.
Hey, Evan, you alright?
Yes, and you?
Yeah, a lot happier now.
Okay. Dan, can you turn your camera a quarter to the left or right?
That's one. Oh yeah, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Yes, yes. Then I can see your handsome dad as well. What's up, guys?
Sorry?
I said, what's up?
Yeah, it's been fishing extremely tough. We made a move earlier on because Dad was getting annoyed with me for trying to target Zander and Perch. So we came back up looking for Pike, and we ended up getting one just now. So yeah, we're really excited now.
Okay, so your dad is the wise guy from you, from the both
Clearly.
of you. Or maybe the genius in tactics.
Yeah, that's what I was prolonging it so he would get a little bit of stamina behind him, fight harder.
Yeah. Hey guys, what's the ranking on the leaderboard?
I think it was 53rd the last time I looked, so not brilliant, but considering the conditions and what we got to deal with at the moment, I'm quite happy, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you see any possibilities to qualify?
Very unlikely. The Zander, we've had an explosion of small fish. That Zander that I sent through to you yesterday, we have got millions of them and small perch like that. They start from about 30 foot and they go all the way down to like 50 foot. So from those depths, and they're about a foot to 2 foot deep in places. That's how high they come up, and it's just they've got so much food at the moment. It's just very, very tough.
Yeah, yeah. And what's your game plan for the last 1 hour and a half?
We're going to keep hammering for the pike, try and get at least another one, because obviously pike qualify our Zander. Not that we've had any, but we'll keep on hammering and see how it goes, to be honest.
Yes, yes. Well, that's the spirit. It can always happening in the last cast, so never give up.
Never give up. We'll keep on hammering.
Yes. Well, that's the spirit, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Evan.
Yeah, thank you for having you in the show. And
Thank you.
try to be back at 5 o'clock for the prize ceremony, so to say.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Evan. Thanks for having us.
See you guys.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Keep on hammering.
Definitely.
Extremely valuable. That's going to help you catch more fish, guaranteed. There we go. Really light finesse bite. And that's what finding your own stuff's all about, man. Figured I'd take advantage of what we just found. And there she is. Nice big bluegill.
It's the middle of summer and it's interesting because these fish can be anywhere. It's, you know, a lot of it can be determined by watercolor. People think they drive deep in the summer, but man, you get green color, algae bloom, or anything can push them up to its available light, and you just really, especially this time of year, you have to let them tell you what to do. You know, we could start little deep and work up, or it could be the converse of that, but either way, like anything, you got to let them tell you what to do because it can be game on this time of year. It's a great time of year to fish.
The Humminbird units, so we've got the Helix Gen 2, come with a feature called Auto Chart Live, which allows you to create your own lake maps. But in addition to creating contour lines on the lake so you know how deep it is, there are some overlay options, and a very useful one for Dan and I today, this lake isn't mapped so you can see I'm driving around, is the vegetation overlay. So if you take a look here, you'll see the green spots. Those are where it's those dense mats that we're flipping, and this is a really cool spot here because when I drove over it I noticed there's rocks in between, so we've got 2 weed beds with a deep rock saddle in between those. So what a really cool feature to have, to be able to identify where the weeds are and where they're not actually, because in a lot of cases where those weeds aren't, it makes a great edge, and often it's hard bottom, and this time of year the fish can be there. So if you've got a unit that does Auto Chart Live, it does more than just record depth contours. You can overlay vegetation and also the bottom hardness. There's one. Get in there, Dan. Oh, that is sweet. Man, that's sweet. Unbelievable. How powerful that is. It's amazing how you can pick up line so quickly. That stick, huh? This is what we're averaging this morning, pretty much. It's a good average, huh? I love those. Now we're starting to get into a little heavier cover. You can see over here we've got some dense mats, and what you see a lot of times in low light conditions, for example, if it was a gray overcast day, you'd find a lot of the fish on the edge. And right now as the sun starts to make its way up into the sky, you'll see the fish move from that edge and they'll start pushing into that thick cover when it's bright and sunny, and that's when we'll have to go in with the heavier weights and crack on them. But right now it's kind of right on that edge. So.
Set it right there and stop.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a game changer. Literally, it's a game changer.
Holding us right in place. It's anchoring us right here without actually using an anchor.
You can get the boat positioned where you want it, hit that spot lock, stay right there, and fish it.
It'll hold us right here now. We can fish the rest of the day right here without having to fool with it.
I can pull out the remote out of my pocket or wherever it is, and I can hit the spot lock button from the back of the boat.
Even in this wind, we're not moving.
The boat just didn't move. It was like fishing off of a dock.
Do your culling, do all the stuff that you want to do, and come right back and you're still sitting in the same spot.
While we were on there schooling fish, we was able to hit the jog feature on the remote
and was able to actually move over 5 foot to be able to stay on fish.
You hit a button and the boat holds where it's at.
Sit and fish and fish and fish and fish until I get tired of fishing and then move.
Spent more time fishing, more time casting.
Sit back down here, retie my line. That right there is a time saver.
I'd use Spot Lock every day.
Inches of ice isn't gonna drill itself! Move it, Gary! I know you can move faster than this! Move it! Move it! Water is for fish! Let's get on that Humminbird. 2D sonar, GPS, flasher, split screen, GPS, flasher. Another angler just started fishing next to you, and now you're getting interference from his flasher. Change that frequency. Dunk! Mid-generate 10 below. Are you gonna give up, or are you gonna get your limit on bluegills? Do it! He's getting ready for ice season. How about you? Let's go, boys. Time's up.
So definitely my most used tool on my boat is my Humminbird 360. Over the years, I've became more and more accustomed to using this all the time, no matter how shallow, how deep I'm fishing, because I feel like I'm a way more efficient angler, and it also builds a lot of confidence. It allows me to know that every time I make a cast, I'm making it in a fishy area, right? So what I like to do is just a quick rundown on my setup. Is first thing I do is I go and I change my color profile. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go up here. It's gonna come standard on number 2. Okay, and for me, this image is very blown out and it's hard to decipher what I'm looking at. So the first thing I do is actually go to the number 4 palette, which is the brown color. And that really helps to break things up. And then I'm also gonna go and I'm gonna lift my sensitivity, which is here, and my contrast, okay? So they're both gonna start on 10, but I like to bring it up somewhere between generally 13 to 15, depending on how hard or soft your bottom is, okay? And then I do the same with my contrast. I keep it about 12 to 15, 13 to 15 in that range, depending on what I'm looking for. And that's about it. I leave everything else the same, keep the sharpness off, and the only other thing that I will do is a lot of times when I'm fishing, I will hit zoom in one time and I'll put my range up to about 119, 120 foot so that when I'm casting, it's right on the edge of my screen, right? That's about as far as I can cast. And you can see here, we're sitting still. 360 works best sitting still. I can see this little grass point that comes out here. We're getting a hard return here because the grass is really thick, and the shadow that you're seeing behind it is actually the shadow from the other side of the grass. And then you're not seeing a whole lot out here because there's nothing out there. Right, so this is just kind of a flat, nothing bank coming out. But you see this one little hard spot here. That's a little tiny stump barely sitting up off the surface, and the cool thing is I can press and hold. I can hit go to with my Ultrex. I tapped the wrong button actually. But press, hold, hit waypoint, and all of a sudden I've got a waypoint exactly right there, and it's gonna pop up on all my units. So definitely the most efficient way for me to find and locate and pattern bass on the water is my Humminbird 360. One thing to keep in mind is that straight forward of the boat is going to be straightforward on your graph, right? So what is straight in front of me is here. And a lot of times, if you've seen any of the videos of me fishing tournaments, you'll see me actually line my rod up on my graph because I'm giving myself a reference point, right? So we're, say, 30 degrees off to the right is that waypoint that I just marked on that little stump. And I can lay my rod off my graph and know that that's the angle that I need to make my cast at. And I also know that this first ring is 30 feet, 60 feet, and then 90 feet. So I know it's about 62 or 63 feet off at that angle that I need to make my cast. 30, 60, 90. So a lot of times for me, the biggest thing when I'm fishing tournaments is trying to pattern those fish and really dialing into what is underneath the water, right? These are my underwater eyeballs. I can look out there, I can see out in front of me, right? I can actually see where I'm going and see the types of cover that are out there. And it really helps me dial into those little subtle changes in either a creek channel, in maybe a brush pile or a rock vein that I'm fishing. I can see all those little subtle differences where those fish like to hang out and where they're gonna position. And so it just makes me a lot more efficient, and it makes me a lot more confident that I know when I'm making my cast that there's actually something there that I believe a fish is holding next to. And there's actually times that I'll see the fish on my 360 sitting around those types of cover. And that's really important for me. The other cool thing is that a lot of times when you're just fishing down the bank, you know, you're fishing at a slow pace and you're fishing down, I will see things out to the side or out in front of me that are under the water, off the bank, that other anglers are missing. And if you don't have 360, you would never know they were there. And a lot of those pieces of cover that I've seen have actually ended up becoming in tournaments some of my go-to spots and places that I catch a lot of my bigger fish off of. So if you are looking to up your electronics game, right, maybe you don't like to mess around with electronics, but if you are somebody that likes to use electronics and wants to up your game in that category, definitely need to check out the Humminbird 360. No doubt in my mind, it makes you a better angler out on the water.
Hey guys, Justin Lucas, 2018 Bassmaster Angler of the Year, and I'm gonna share with you guys exactly how I used my Humminbird Solixes this year to help me win that title. So number one, my eyes on this big 15 are always dialed into LakeMaster. LakeMaster HD, an HD map is unbelievably accurate with what it draws, you know, out in front of me. So I know when I approach something that it's gonna be really close to what it looks like on this map in front of me. And we see a good spot right here. We just got off pad about 300 feet back from it because number one, I don't want to spook the fish when I come up. I want to idle. I want a nice clean idle, not just run right on top of them. And I've got the range ring set up. So every range ring is 100 feet. I know that and I've got 4 set up. So I know that when that outer ring gets to the spot, I'm within 400 feet, it's time to shut off pad and start idling. And so I see a nice little point here, but there's another little really subtle indention here. And a lot of times this is what I was looking for, is something really subtle that would just make a nice hard spot that these fish were using that other maps wouldn't show. So once I find that on the map and I know that I'm getting lined up and I'm accurate, we're going across it right now, then my eyes turn to the side unit. And this is a Solix 12 over here. I've got a split up and down screen with mega imaging, down image, and side image. And then I almost take my eyes off the map completely. I'm looking over here, looking for every little detail, really trying.
Hello. Hello.
Understand every little thing that's going on here. These are my eyes under the water. Without this, I don't know how to set up properly on something. So we're gonna idle around, we're gonna find a good spot to mark, and then we'll show you guys how we get set up. All right, so the first thing that I do when I get to a lake for practice is I go to the chart. This is really, really important. Number one is I actually look on my phone online and get the lake level wherever I'm at. So if I know that the lake is up or down a couple feet, that's really important. Right here, the lake we're on, I looked, it's at 0 feet water level, so we're just gonna leave it right there. I could change it to, you know, higher, being a little flooded, or if the lake was drawn down, I can change it down as well, and the lines are gonna adjust on the graph. The second thing is go into the Humminbird settings. You know, based on time of year, wherever I'm at, I have a general idea within 20 feet what depth the fish are gonna be in, or what depth I wanna concentrate in. And so I've got this set depth highlight at 16 feet, and then the range at 6 feet. So that means it's gonna go out to 22 feet and down to 10 feet, and it's gonna draw this beautiful green strip. That's all 10 to 22 feet right there. It's unbelievably accurate. I rely on this green strip as much as anything else in my boat, you know, and if I need to adjust it throughout the day, it's really easy. If I'm not finding fish in the depths that I've highlighted, then I change it. But that is definitely the first thing I do when I get to a new lake before anything else. And then as I start to idle around, go over here on the side button, and I like touchscreen. It's just really easy. That's why I choose Solix. Guys love Helix, and I had them and they're great. I just really love touchscreen. I'll show you why on that in a second too. But as I'm idling around, just first thing in the morning, you know, if I know it's gonna be a deep tournament, I'm gonna get out here and kind of mess with the contrast and sensitivity until I get the color that's drawn perfectly for this lake. I feel like every lake is different, you know, based on what's in the water, water clarity, all kinds of different things I feel like factor into it. And I noticed that adjusting the contrast and sensitivity, playing with it just a little bit until I get it real clear on the graph, that makes a big difference. Not the same contrast and sensitivity works on every lake. The other thing I like to do is run the chart speed up a little bit. I just feel like this helps draw a clearer picture for me. So it comes standard at chart speed 5. I bump it up to 7 just to get a little more speed out of it. But that's the start, you know, of now we're ready to go find the spots and find the fish. All right, so we just idled over this point, but what I'm really looking at is this tall piece of standing timber over here, a couple little maybe brush piles right in here, and then a nice big boulder rock right there. So there's a lot of things going on in this little area. And then what I'll do is hit it. This is why I love touchscreen. Instead of scrolling over, I can just hit it. I might zoom in to get a little bit better picture of it, and then I'm just gonna double tap mark. Waypoint 1580. And now this waypoint, you know, because my graphs are linked up together, it's gonna show on all 4 of my graphs if I want it. You can see it just popped up right here, 1580. So now we're gonna take into consideration the wind. It's blowing this way. We're gonna come downwind, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I get set up on a piece of structure like this. This is where 360 comes into play. This is where, you know, of course my map still, but 2D and 360 are really gonna come into play on a spot like this. All right guys, now that we have our waypoint set, you can see here 1580. This is where, again, range rings are gonna come into play, and this is where 360 really comes into play for me. I've got my range ring set at 100 feet. You can see that the waypoint is within 100 feet. I also have range rings on my 360, and it's set at 100 feet. And so right now, you can see this waypoint's about halfway between my boat icon and the end of this 100 feet. So it should be within 50 feet what we marked, right? Looking right here, here's that same piece of tall standing timber that we saw, another one right there, and there's that one piece of that one rock. And I know now that's a dead on cast right there to what we marked. And you can see my boat pointed right at it. There's a piece of standing timber, the rock right next to it, a little bit more of that standing timber, and another laid down log right there. And this is where I set up shop with a spot lock, and then I can continue to make repeated casts to the exact spot. And this is why it's such a critical player for me, especially on lakes that I'm not familiar with, and why for me this is one of the most important tools, because a guy that lives here can go, okay, I know if I cast at that bridge piling, you know, lined up with this house, that's the cast. I don't know that. It is really hard for a guy to learn that in 2.5 days of practice. So this tool helps break that down so much easier and is a huge difference maker. I don't have to get right on top of them. I sit back, make my cast to them. I know I'm within 100 feet of them. That's a 33-yard cast. And you can see here, there's a fish. Here's a nice brush pile we're on top of. I mean, we marked some nice looking stuff down there. Hey, if you guys want to up your deep water game, you know, this is exactly how I've got it set up. You guys got the detailed information today. And check out Solix or Helix. They're both going to help you become a deep water master.
What lies beneath can no longer hide. New Mega Imaging Plus uses high-frequency sonar to show you fish and structure up to 200 feet below your boat and 200 feet out to either side. No more secrets, no more guesswork, just a clearer picture of the world below, down to a fish's species and direction. Because more detail means more of this. Only from Humminbird.
If you're a sportsman living in the ice belt, you might find value in having an all-seasons fish finder. Humminbird came up with the solution with their Helix G2N unit. This is the all-season model, and what that means is you get the Helix G2N ice pack, but it comes with a high-speed trip transducer that you can mount on your boat. The nice thing about that is you can take your waypoints with you. You can do auto chart live with the Humminbird Helix unit, and you can take those waypoints and that map anywhere you go, all in one unit, just by simply switching the power cord and the transducer cable. So here at Wired to Fish, we fish out of a multitude of boats. We've got our highly transferable boats, we've got kayaks, and we've got canoes. And a great accessory that can come with this is a suction cup transducer holder. Just slap it on the back of any old boat. You don't need any screws or anything, adapters like that. You don't need to drill holes in your boat. Like I said, slap the suction cup transducer on the back of any boat, kayak, or canoe, and that makes it a universal unit. And one thing that's incredibly invaluable is having this be available on your boat, especially in the fall time like we are right now, where we can go out and scout basins or scout spots and find panfish and lay down waypoints and make maps, and all that will be available when you go to fish during the early ice season and all season long. Within the all-season pack, you get 2 transducers, one for the ice unit and one that you can put on any open water vessel such as this boat. So you get the soft pack for ice fishing, you get the gimbal bracket that you can mount in your boat, and it comes with 2 transducers, one that you can use on hard water on the ice and one that you can use in open water. And what's nice about this is that it comes with 2 power cables, one for your ice unit and one for the power source in your boat. And as an added bonus, you can take this pack anywhere you go because it has self-contained power with a 9 amp hour battery. So simply put, all I have to do is take the head unit off, put it in my ice pack, reconnect the transducer and the power, and I've got all my mapping, waypoints, and the technology available from Humminbird Helix G2N 365 days a year.
I'm on one of those lakes today that's dotted all over the Midwest. I mean, you can find lakes like this about anywhere, and there's a lot of weeds in it, but along with the weeds, we got great pike fishing, we got walleyes in here, we got crappies, we got bluegills, you name it, they're here, because the weed growth gives them everything they need. It gives them some cover, it gives them areas to eat, gives them oxygen. I mean, really the weeds are what make this system work. But it gets a little bit hard sometimes to catch fish in these systems because deciphering where you want to fish can be tricky. What I'm trying to do today is fish right over the top of the weeds. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for depths where the weeds might come up halfway up the water column. Now, if you look at a 2D sonar, and this is really cool because on this Humminbird Helix, I'm able to actually show you a split screen that shows you everything. If you look at a 2D sonar right here, what you see is it looks like it's just cluttered. You might even mistake some of this for fish. It's really hard to read what it is. And this is what's so great about down imaging. If you look down here and you look at my down imaging, you can see that I'm actually drawing every single stem. I'm seeing every single weed as it comes up off the bottom. And because it draws you that picture, you can see exactly what you want to know. I know that I've got 5 to 7 feet below the surface of clean water that I can fish. I can see how thick the weeds may be, how thin they may be. I can see if they're laying down or sticking up, which is going to make a difference as the year wears on and some of these weeds start to die off. You're going to want to try to find those weeds that are alive and sticking up. So all said and done, when you're fishing in weeds, one of the greatest tools I have, and you should be using it, is your down imaging unit because you can see everything about that weed bed. And here's what's really cool. There's times you can actually see fish in those weeds too. There's no way you're going to be able to do that with your 2D, but you're going to see them with that down imaging unit. When you put it side by side like this, when you pull up this split screen and look at it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, you just won't go without this again. Down imaging is really the way to go when you're fishing in the weeds. I'm gonna get a line in the water because I'll tell you what, I do believe there's gonna be a pile of fish here.
Well, ice fishing season is here now, and I pulled the Zero Lines card that we recorded the auto chart live data to, and here's the same ice pack we had on open water. You can see here's the map that comes stock for this particular lake. It hasn't been mapped in high definition yet, which is why we did our auto chart live mapping, so we could have 1 foot contour intervals, basically a more accurate map when we went ice fishing. Plus, with the composition information, we'll have hardness data too, which can be pretty valuable. So I'm gonna slide this little micro SD card in here, and then you're gonna see this map populate. I get a prompt there asking, do I wanna switch to the Zero Lines card? And the answer to that is yes. And there we go. The spot that I'm most interested in is this structure over here. So we're gonna go drop the snowmobile off, go out there, drive that structure, and start looking for some panfish. So we're on the spot we want to fish, and you can see I have the Helix 5 with a base map on it. Again, lacks detail. It still shows me the general location of this bar that sticks out into the lake. And then I have my auto chart live data, and this is with a 1 foot contour interval. So the first step that I do when I get to a new spot is no different than with my boat. I start driving contours. So I'm gonna treat the snowmobile as my boat, and right now I have depth highlight selected. I have the depth highlight option available on this Helix ice pack as well, and I have 20 to 22 feet highlighted. No different than my boat. I'm just gonna drive in that highlighted green area right now, adjacent to the steeper contours. So that will represent the base of the drop off. And in the winter time, you'll oftentimes have fish kind of set up in those basin areas, eating bloodworms and other invertebrates. So that's where we're gonna start. That doesn't mean the fish are there, but at least it's a systematic start to the search. I have one thing here that Auto Chart Live provides in addition to 1 foot contour interval accuracy, and that's bottom composition. And that can be really important to figuring out a pattern. The blue represents the real hard bottom spots on this particular spot. So the fish may not be there, but at least I know where those hard bottom areas are, so I can eliminate them, or maybe the fish are there. So it's just having bottom hardness is just one more piece of information to help me put the puzzle together. So I'm gonna go drive right now in the green. We're gonna film that from the air. My track is gonna serve as the path that I wanna drill around. So I'm gonna drill the snowmobile track. I'm gonna drill some shallower, I'm gonna drill some deeper, and that'll help me hone in on where those fish might be. At least I have a path to drill out versus just aimlessly drilling holes on this structure. So I started marking a pile of fish on this hole, and if you look at my track here in red, this is the last spot I drilled, and this is where I started to mark them. And you'll note that there's a contour change here. There's an extension, a real subtle point. You can see the contour lines are spread far apart. So this is kind of a basin area, but yet a little bit of structure. Big school of perch, probably a few bluegill mixed in. So I'm gonna drop down. Nice thing about the Helix ice unit, the G2N, is that I can have my sonar screen with mapping if I would like. I did drop a waypoint on this spot, so waypoint management's a pretty big deal. You find a productive hole, you can drop a waypoint and return to that spot. A few bottom hugging fish. Oop, look at, there we go. This one feels a little nicer. You'll get a mixed bag of these panfish running together in the winter, bluegill and crappie, and in this case, solid jumbo perch, because they use the same areas. Oftentimes it's pretty food driven, and we use mapping today to help us kind of figure out the lay of the land. We set up in a bit of a basin area off a subtle point and connected with our first quality fish. So pretty cool to feel that success. And not too far over there is the community hole on this spot. but through custom mapping and then strategically going and drilling out this area and hole hopping, we were able to find a spot for ourselves away from the pack, and that can mean the difference between connecting with some of these guys versus beating your dummy on a depleted spot or where the fish have been pretty heavily pressured. I get a little bite, I'll drop my rod tip, and if I see slack, that means the bait's in the fish's mouth. This one's fighting a little different. Pulling pretty good though. There we go, respectable bluegill. You get out here on a nice day, you can have a great time, catch a lot of fish, catch a lot of different species of fish. And the beauty is you can come back on, following years and have that information in your ice unit. You can have it on open water, but you can, catch these fish with a little bit better consistency, and mapping really changes that. I would argue if there's a time for high quality mapping, ice fishing in particular is very powerful because you don't have as much mobility. So you really do need to be smart as to where you drill a hole and how you break down that water. An Auto Chart Live is just another tool in the toolkit.
Lund has a long history of building the finest fishing boats that money can buy. The emphasis has always been on fishability, providing anglers with all the tools they need to catch the diverse range of fish swimming in North Country lakes and rivers.
I think we're gonna have fun today, man. Wow.
Now Lund has focused those same skills on producing a high-performance boat that's really dedicated to the bass angler. The challenge was to incorporate a bass fishing configuration into Lund's time-tested big water hull design. The resulting offspring of northern ingenuity and down-home castability is built to catch bass wherever they swim. The 1875 Pro V Bass is a Pro V with a raised deck system for ease of casting accuracy. Look closer, however, there's ever so much more. Beneath the surface, you get 18 feet 9 inches of tough, durable aluminum hull construction that takes a beating and comes back for more. Lund's IPS-2 hull gets up and running in a flash, gliding across rough water with far swifter recovery than heavier fiberglass when you're cutting across long distance in big waves. Yet at rest, it's basically the same draft as a traditional bass boat, allowing you to fish the extreme shallows with ease. Beneath the carpeting, the 1875 Pro V Bass features complete aluminum decking, sidewalls, and structural supports provide superior strength. The Pro V Bass comes in a choice of 2 configurations depending on your preference. The bench seat option provides traditional 3-seat orientation with anglers sitting side by side. There's loads of additional storage under the triple wide seating, plus a unique pop-up storage system that holds 9 tackle trays beneath the deck until needed. Pedestal seating offers a large cockpit area with seating up to 4 anglers. Twin flip-up seats in the rear deck allow you to bring an extra buddy or 2 along for the ride. You get cockpit storage with handy drink holders, an integrated cooler storage, and convenient hiding place for your culling equipment. You're in control all the time, whether you're up on the front trolling motor or seated at the aerodynamic command console. At the helm, all of your gauges, switches, and electronics are close at hand. Up front, the bow command center does the same, with recessed areas for both your electronics and your foot pedal, alleviating the stress of balancing on one leg all day while running the trolling motor. Both models offer abundant storage compartments beneath your feet just about everywhere you look. Topside hatches features Lund's advanced water control system to keep your valuables and gear safe and dry, plus additional port storage for items you need to get at in a hurry. At the rear, the 28-gallon, 36-inch compartmented live well separates your catch from your fishing partners. Finally, every good angler needs plenty of rods to handle different tactics. Lund's 1875 Pro V Bass offers a tri-level rod storage for 15 rods up to 9 feet in length, able to store even the longest musky rods on the market. After all, when you build a big water boat with enhanced castability, you know that musky anglers are going to love this boat design. Lund's 1875 Pro V Bass, all the fish catching features that made Lund's name famous in a profile tailor-made for bass heads anywhere.
Tony Roach, along with his son Robbie, went pan-fishing in Lund's 1600 Rebel, which was highlighted in an episode of Lund's The Ultimate Fishing Experience Show.
Uh-oh, I'm going to be needing to know where that crappie spot's at. Good job.
Hey, Dad, how much bluegills are you catching?
Well, son, I wanted to put you on the fish today. Today we're fishing out of the Lund Rebel 1600. This is a great little boat for hopping around these small lakes. You can get into just about any body of water. What I like about this boat is there's ample bow storage. There's a massive live well up front. It's got aerator, bilge pumps. This one happens to be a side console, but it also comes in a tiller model. What's great about it is it's got some really nice rod lockers on both sides of the boat, plenty of storage for all your tackle and gear. Compared to other small boats, you don't have to sit on bench seats. This has a really comfortable seating system, just like being in any other big Lund model. Here we go, buddy. There we go, Robbie. This one's a little better. Oh yeah, I can see the orange belly. Definitely getting bigger now, buddy. Look at that one. We're kind of having to weed through some smaller ones, but there are definitely some bigger gills in here. Let me get this one back in the water. I got to get back in there before Robbie gets in there. I'm trying to catch up here. You gonna let me catch up?
Okay.
Hi there, Jason for you with Lund Boats. I'm standing here in the 1400 Fury SS, and if you're looking for a boat that can get you
Welcome to the Berkeley Casting Lab. This is where we do all sorts of research on the action of soft baits, the action of hard baits, how to rig certain things, how to make them do different things. This is where we look at what the fish look at. This casting pool, 13 foot deep, 60 foot wide, is basically our own clear lake without fish in it. Underwater viewing area, we can go downstairs and look at the fish's perspective of how the baits are tuned, how they wiggle, what's the pitch, what's the yaw, how the tail's moving. Anything you can think of, we can look at. The fish in these aquariums tell us what they like the smell of, what they like the taste of. This is where we learn the different scents that attract fish. This oval pool is basically a fish racetrack where we drag lures in front of them at certain speeds, and we look at what actions actually get them to strike the lure. This is our flow tank. This is where we can make a bait wiggle the way it's designed to, but have it basically in a spot where we can film it, we can look at it, we can have pros look at it, where we can change things, bring it back to the flow tank, and we can look at how our designs change the action of that bait. It's very useful when designing hard baits. This is one of our chemistry labs where we actually mix in the attractants and the certain scents that attract fish to bite. We put them into the baits and see what we can do. We actually build the prototype molds here as well. We can mess with different colors, different flex sizes, different dough materials. Anything you can think of about the texture of a bait, this is where we prototype it. This is our prototype Superline lab. This is where we have our ideas for Superlines come to fruition. This is when we have all these crazy ideas, we actually try to make a couple of them and then test them and see how they work. We have several designers, some do hard baits, some do soft baits, and here's where they work in their Pro Engineering CAD system. They can pull the lines around, start messing with the shapes and sizes of baits, put on the face detail, anything you can imagine they can do on this program. In our machine shop, this is where our machinists can cut different aluminum chunks and different plastic chunks and turn them into baits. This is where we build our prototype molds for both hard baits and soft baits. There's nothing that these machines can't do. We actually have a 3D printer now that gives us a lot of opportunities to create small parts for many, many things. But it gives us another tool in our process to create things that we can use to create products very fast. The Product Test Center is basically science that we've applied to bait over the last few decades, now applied to fishing line. We tear apart fishing line literally to see how it reacts to certain conditions, how it holds up to certain conditions, and what can we do to make fishing lines better. There's a lot of things about a fishing line that an angler needs to understand that's going to help them catch more fish. For example, how much memory on your monofilaments, your nylon monofilaments, your fluorocarbons, how much memory do they have when they come off the spool, and how does that affect how far you cast? We actually measure stuff like that here at the Berkeley Product Test Center. We can look at how well your Superline holds on to the coloration that it has on it. How many casts does it take to wear all of that stuff off? If you buy red line or you buy green line, you want green line or red line. How fast does it come off? We can actually test that here and make our products better. We have a shock tester that literally drops line with heavy weights to see how much it can withstand. So when a fish comes up and really smokes you, can it handle that? Or a fish that's fighting right by the boat and all of a sudden takes off on a last ditch effort, we can actually measure the force a line can withstand. The tensile tester is a nice slow pull. This shows us the tensile strength of that material. How much stress and strain can it take before it actually gives up? Not only on straight tests, but also on knot tests. Which knots tie better for certain lines? That's very important to the angler. We actually have a UV machine where we can wear down products. We do it on fishing line, we can do it on baits. This is where we do some studies on different rod actions. Everyone knows that the same rod action is not the same as another one, even they may say the same thing. We actually build rods and try to mess with guide sizes, guide spacing, different blanks, different graphite levels, how we wrap them, to see how that changes the efficiency of that rod in terms of casting, hook setting power, and sensitivity. I want to thank you for visiting our Berkeley Fishing Lab facilities, where science meets fishing and helps us all catch more fish.
Hello and welcome to Ursvik. Today we are going to take the factory tour, so follow me. We are going to our warehouse. Usually it's not allowed to film in our factory, but fortunately I have a special permission. So, we start here. We have the fabric elevator. already digitalized and the patterns and everything is on a computer. We still have the cardboard patterns for all our suits still left, so that we can use them if necessary. Pattern making. Here we have all kinds of accessories for suits, zippers, pullers, etc. This is all the components for a suit except for boot seals and other minor stuff. So this is one complete suit, 90%. Here we have different types of sewing machines depending on the type of suit we are making or the type of seam needed for the suit. Heat presses for reinforcements and logos, etc. Pre-gluing. Attaching of components and pre-gluing also. Different types of taping machines depending on the suit and the fabric. Attaching components also. More taping machines. And now we go to the testing, because all the suits are being tested before leaving this premises, this factory. Here you can see the testing. So we are checking for bubbles to see if there is any leak. If the suit is okay, it goes on this side. If there's something that needs to be repaired, it goes on this side. And this is the drying tunnel for suits. And these are suits that are in for service, old suits or new suits that needs to be fixed in some way, that did not pass the test first time. And here are all the suits that are okay, which are going to be now visually inspected and packed into bags. One suit ready to go to the store, to the warehouse, or directly to the customer. Come on. So that was the factory tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Now it's time to let me work again. Come on. Take care, guys. See you soon.
World-renowned Japanese hook manufacturer Owner was celebrating their 50th anniversary with a bigger range than ever. Owner hooks have you covered for every species you love to fish for. The only thing that keeps you connected to that fish of a lifetime is the hook.
Go mate, go mate, go mate! Yeah!
Choose the right hook, choose Owner. World-renowned Japanese hook manufacturer Owner was celebrating their 50th anniversary with a bigger range than ever.
Genieten van topfaciliteiten met om de hoek de oer-Hollandse biesbos en steden als Dordrecht en Rotterdam op korte afstand gelegen.
Hello Jan.
Hello, we have another meter pike in the boat.
Kijk, that's good.
Jelko will share with you now.
Can you turn the camera a quarter to the left, please? Yeah, perfect. Well, you are the proof that keep on hammering really works.
Yeah, we're now going to release it and we have probably a half hour left. So, yeah, we have a half hour left, so we will fish the hardest possible the last half hour.
Keep on hammering, guys. It's
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye bye, bye.
Resort de Biesbos biedt een totaalplaatje voor al haar gasten. Resort de Biesbos heeft een groot binnenzwembad met wellnessfaciliteiten. Het binnenzwembad is onderverdeeld in een diepbad en een apart kinderbad met piratenschip. Vanuit het zwembad heb je mooi uitzicht over het resort dat ook een buitenzwembad, een multifunctionele sportbaan en een grote speeltuin omvat. Ook is bij het resort een jachthaven gelegen, zodat je ook per boot naar het resort kunt komen. Dat is een aanrader, want Resort de Biesbos ligt op het kruispunt van twee grote rivieren. Het Hollandsdiep en de Dordtse Kil. De overdekte faciliteiten van het resort bestaan verder uit een indoor speelparadijs en een sfeervolle horeca, die qua versieringen teruggrijpt naar het rijke Hollandse verleden. De Hollandse gevels aan de muur en de verwijzingen naar het maritieme verleden geven het restaurant extra cachet. Daarnaast beschikt het resort ook over een luxueuze snackbar. Wie op Resort de Biesbos verblijft, ervaart de rust van een landelijke omgeving. Die wordt versterkt door de dagelijkse blik over het water. Naar de standaarden van Europarks is elk van de vakantiehuizen van buiten onderscheidend qua design en van binnen luxueus aangekleed. Vanuit Resort de Biesbos kun je met een boot een van de oudste Hollandse natuurgebieden ervaren. Want de Hollandse Biesbos ligt om de hoek van het resort. Daarnaast is Dordrecht als oudste stad van Holland een aanrader. Hier is nog veel geschiedenis te zien, uit niet alleen de 17e, maar zelfs de 16e eeuw. Wie meer houdt van moderniteit, het mondaine Rotterdam, ligt op nog geen half uur van het resort. Zie, voel en proef Resort de Biesbos in zijn omgeving in al zijn veelzijdigheid. Kom langs en beleef een onvergetelijke tijd op dit resort op het kruispunt van rivieren.
I'm Sean Ruge, Product Manager for Navionics, and we're on the water today to show you what we consider to be a unique breakthrough in boating navigation.
All auto routing existing today can find a route from A to B only if they are both in open water, while good guidance and planning is most needed in narrow waters and channels, especially when there are many of them and you don't know which one to take. Our new dock-to-dock auto routing can find the route all the way from your real start point to your real end point, even through narrow passages and channels.
With a new design, an entirely rebuilt algorithm, and a massive amount of newly sourced data, Navionics Auto Routing provides functionality even beyond what's commonly available in cars, and quickly creates detailed routes within your Navionics boating application for your iPhone or iPad. All you need to do is choose your destination with a tap, hit Boat To, and go.
Auto routing calculates a detailed route based on chart data and navigational aids. You can see your estimated fuel consumption and distance, plus time to destination. It can even highlight any precautions along the way.
This morning we're headed to the Black Dog Wharf, and it should take us about 35 minutes to get there, so let's go. While underway, you can watch your progress and view updated stats.
At any time, you can easily browse through services and points of interest near your destination, like the Harbor Master, marinas and moorings, fuel stations, restaurants and bars, shops, taxis and launch services, and more. They appear automatically within the auto routing menu. Just choose the category and they're highlighted on the map, complete with phone number and VHF channel.
We're getting close to the marina now. I can even call right from the app to see which dock to pull into.
Hello, Hans.
Hello!
Hey,
Hallo.
lees ik nou, keep on hammering, duurt het nooit op 4 uur dan?
Yes, it is.
Dat meen je niet.
Ja, tot 4 uur.
Ja. Hij kijkt naar voren toe. Hoe krijg ik me eruit even?
Je camera omdraaien.
Camera omdraaien.
Ja. Dan moet je op een knopje drukken.
Welke? Ah joh, mama maakt niet uit. We hebben heerlijk gevist even 3 dagen lang.
Film elkaar even, mannen.
Ja. Hier kun je me even van mijn praten. Film elkaar even. Kijk, we hebben lekker gevist, alleen jammer dat we een half uurtje eraf zijn. Helaas.
Ja.
Een uur.
Ja, 3 uur zijn we gestopt.
Nou, goed.
Ja, maar dat is op zich goed, want dan ben je eerder thuis. Maar je had nog een uur kunnen doorvissen.
Ik hoor niks, hè?
Ja, maar normaal gesproken met een normale wedstrijd stoppen we toch om 3 uur zo, niks.
Ja, dat klopt. Maar ik heb vanmorgen nog gezegd, we vissen van 8 tot 4.
Oh ja, dat hebben we gemist, joh.
Ja. Maar ja, ach.
Kan gebeuren. Kijk.
Ja, hoeveelste...
We hopen dat het volgt.
Hoeveelste staan jullie op het leaderboard?
11 op het moment.
Ah, oké. Nou ja, ben je uiteindelijk, de prijs is toch eeuwige roem.
Ja, zo is het.
Nou, bij deze gun ik jullie die sowieso.
Is goed.
Hey, en,
volgend jaar wel gewoon doorgaan.
Ja, dat gaan we wel hopen, ja. Hey, maar volgens mij, even uit mijn hoofd, hebben jullie toch ook de unieke buff gewonnen?
Ah, helemaal super. We zien hem wel verschijnen.
Nee, maar ik dacht het wel. Volgens mij staan jullie ook op de lijst.
Oh, dat zou kunnen, dat weet ik niet zeker. We hebben geen uitzonderlijk grote vissen vervangen of zo, dat niet.
Nee, maar...
Nou, leuk joh.
Hey, meedoen is belangrijker dan winnen.
Ja, zo is het.
Gaan jullie om... Gaan jullie om 5 uur nog even inloggen?
Ja, we kijken wel even, dat is goed.
Want 5 uur is de prijsuitreiking.
Oké.
Dat jullie niet... Hey, dat jullie niet een uur eerder gaan kijken.
Nee, dat komt goed joh.
Oké.
Hey, groetjes dan. Ja.
Hey mannen, leuk dat jullie in de show waren. Ja, ik zie jullie zitten al op de pils. Hey, en bedankt. En we zien elkaar in het echt volgend jaar. Hè? Zullen we dat afspreken?
Ja, daar ga ik wel vanuit.
Ja, dat hou ik je aan. Gaan we doen.
Zeker. Oké, tot ziens.
Hey mannen, rustig aan. Hoi.
En dan zou je zo meteen de bakjes een interview te geven, hoor.
Ja, kan ik er wat aan doen. Ik krijg het ding alweer.
Ja, dan kunnen we gewoon even weer wat lekker nationale vissen.
Well, those guys are back from the water already. They thought the competition, well, in the normal competition, in the real competition, not in the online version, the competition always stops at 1500 because we need so much time to get the prize giving ready. Well, for this year, because this is an online version and it's for the internal fame, the winners get internal fame. So we decided to fish until 4. But what those guys, they didn't understand that we have fishing for 1 hour longer. But for you guys, we will continue the broadcast until 4 o'clock. Then we stop the live stream and we will be back at 5 for the prize ceremony. So we go back to the movie until 4 o'clock. Maybe some live streams will come in. Most teams are still hammering on the water because the big fish, it can come every minute. You saw it with the team who's on the second place as we speak. It's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes past the end of the competition, and they caught a pike over 1 meter. So every cast can be the big fish. And my slogan is always keep on hammering. It can also be in the last cast. Okay, back to the movie, and I see you guys around 4 o'clock.
Hi, I'm Lance Godefroy. I'm from Navionics UK. I'm here at the finals of the Beneteau Barracuda Tour in southern Brittany. And I want to show you about our new feature with platinum charts called sonar chart shading. So here we have the nautical chart appearing. I press menu and select chart options. Within chart options, I go to view and I switch on photo overlay to full. Immediately you see the sonar chart shading appear. The definition of the deeper water with the darker blue colour. At the moment this is on full minimum transparency. If I go to transparency here now, if I bring it up to the maximum, you can see it is totally transparent. As I bring it down, the sonar chart shading integrates with the nautical chart. At this point, I'm going to show you sonar chart. So I'm going to integrate the sonar chart with sonar chart shading. So now you see the high definition contours with the sonar chart shading transparent showing.
Hi, my name is Ravi Sankaranarayanan. I'm the owner and CEO of Rebel Cell. We are active in the portable energy business. We provide lithium-ion batteries that are used by anglers, outdoor and marine enthusiasts. We are a sponsor of the Predatortour. We have been a sponsor for a couple of years for both the Predatortour and the Predatortour Sweden, as it is one of the key events in which the top anglers compete. And that's for our brand a very important phase for us to be in. So that's the reason we actually sponsor the Predatortour, and we wish all the contestants for the upcoming editions a lot of success, and hopefully they will be powered by one of the prizes we will be supplying, which is one of our awesome lithium-ion batteries.
Hello, Joseph.
Hi, Evert.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
That's good.
That's good, yeah. The weather conditions are good now. We have sun. I see the first sun in Netherlands, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'd like to say thank you for that wonderful tournament, that you had this idea to make it in this way. It was so good to fish in a tournament. Thank you for that.
Well, it is my pleasure, and I really appreciate it that you as a person, but also as a premium partner, are happy with the event runs.
Yeah, fine. So, and now my teammate said I have to cast the last ones. So, bye and thank you.
Yes, keep on hammering. Bye-bye. Well, I think it's 10 minutes from now, and then it's end of competition. You heard Joseph said about I need some more casts. I think we will start in another movie, or we stay. No, we we will send in the last movie of today, Then we end the broadcast at 4 o'clock, and we will be back at 5 o'clock for the prize ceremony. So enjoy the movie for 10 more minutes. Then I will be in the air again. Then we have a short break of 1 hour, and we will be back for the prize ceremony at 5 o'clock, 1700.
Lund has a long history of building the finest fishing boats that money can buy. The emphasis has always been on fishability, providing anglers with all the tools they need to catch the diverse range of fish swimming in North Country lakes and rivers.
I think we're gonna have fun today, man. Wow.
Now Lund has focused those same skills on producing a high-performance boat that's really dedicated to the bass angler. The challenge was to incorporate a bass fishing configuration into Lund's time-tested big water hull design. The resulting offspring of northern ingenuity and down-home castability is built to catch bass wherever they swim. The 1875 Pro V bass is a Pro V with a raised deck system for ease of casting accuracy. Look closer, however, there's ever so much more. Beneath the surface, you get 18 feet 9 inches of tough, durable aluminum hull construction that takes a beating and comes back for more. Lund's IPS-2 hull gets up and running in a flash, gliding across rough water with far swifter recovery than heavier fiberglass when you're cutting across long distance in big waves. Yet at rest, it's basically the same draft as a traditional bass boat, allowing you to fish the extreme shallows with ease. Beneath the carpeting, the 1875 Pro V bass features complete aluminum decking, sidewalls, and structural supports provide superior strength. The Pro V bass comes in a choice of 2 configurations depending on your preference. The bench seat option provides traditional 3-seat orientation with anglers sitting side by side. There's loads of additional storage under the triple wide seating, plus a unique pop-up storage system that holds 9 tackle trays beneath the deck until needed. Pedestal seating offers a large cockpit area with seating up to 4 anglers. Twin flip-up seats in the rear deck allow you to bring an extra buddy or 2 along for the ride. You get cockpit storage with handy drink holders, an integrated cooler storage, and convenient hiding place for your culling equipment. You're in control all the time, whether you're up on the front trolling motor or seated at the aerodynamic command console. At the helm, all of your gauges, switches, and electronics are close at hand. Up front, the bow command center does the same, with recessed areas for both your electronics and your foot pedal, alleviating the stress of balancing on one leg all day while running the trolling motor. Both models offer abundant storage compartments beneath your feet just about everywhere you look. Topside hatches features Lund's advanced water control system to keep your valuables and gear safe and dry, plus additional port storage for items you need to get at in a hurry. At the rear, the 28-gallon, 36-inch compartmented live well separates your catch from your fishing partners. Finally, every good angler needs plenty of rods to handle different tactics. Lund's 1875 Pro V bass offers a tri-level rod storage for 15 rods up to 9 feet in length, able to store even the longest musky rods on the market. After all, when you build a big water boat with enhanced castability, you know that musky anglers are going to love this boat design. Lund's 1875 Pro V bass, all the fish-catching features that made Lund's name famous in a profile tailor-made for bass heads anywhere.
Tony Roach, along with his son Robbie, went panfishing in Lund's 1600 Rebel, which was highlighted in an episode of Lund's The Ultimate Fishing Experience Show.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna be needing to know where that crappie spot's at. Good job.
Hey Dad, how much bluegills are you catching?
Well, son, I wanted to put you on the fish today. Today we're fishing out of the Lund Rebel 1600. This is a great little boat for hopping around these small lakes. You can get into just about any body of water. What I like about this boat is there's ample bow storage. There's a massive live well up front. It's got aerator, bilge pumps. This one happens to be a side console, but it also comes in a tiller model. What's great about it is it's got some really nice rod lockers on both sides of the boat, plenty of storage for all your tackle and gear. Compared to other small boats, you don't have to sit on bench seats. This has a really comfortable seating system, just like being in any other big Lund model. Here we go, buddy. There we go, Robbie. This one's a little better. Oh yeah, I can see the orange belly. Definitely getting bigger now, buddy. Look at that one. We're kind of having to weed through some smaller ones, but there are definitely some bigger gills in here. Let me get this one back in the water. I got to get back in there before Robbie gets in there. I'm trying to catch up here. You gonna let me catch up?
Okay.
Hi there, Jason for you with Lund Boats. I'm standing here in the 1400 Fury SS, and if you're looking for a boat that can get you
Was ist eine Mutti?
So gut, ey. Sind jetzt auf Platz 14. Das tut so weh gerade, das tut so weh, ne?
Oh, 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 oh.
Jetzt sind wir wieder im Rennen, Jungs.
Ja, ein weiteres Jahr Predatortour. Auch dieses Jahr ist Fisch und Fang mit einem Team dabei. Wir haben die Spieler ein bisschen ausgewechselt. Meine Wenigkeit und vor allem der Dirk Räuber angeln heute, also heute noch nicht, aber dann die nächsten Tage mit. Es ist wieder am Hollandsdiep und es geht wieder auf die 3 Fischarten Hecht, Zander und Barsch. Jeweils 3 Hechte, 3 Zander, 1 Barsch gehen in die Wertung ein. Auch in dieser Reihenfolge. Man muss erst die Hechte voll angeln sozusagen, dann die Zander und dann zählt erst der Barsch. Wir haben uns gerade schon angemeldet, haben tolle Cappies bekommen, Tiefenkarte, Messboard, geht nur bis 1,20, habe ich schon gesehen, wird bei Zander knapp, vor allem bei Zander. Wir kennen uns hier beide nicht aus am Hollandsdiep, also ich jedenfalls gar nicht,
nein.
du?
Nein, gar nicht, noch nie gefischt.
Ja, aber wir machen das Beste draus, haben morgen einen Tag zum Üben, wir grillen uns jetzt erstmal ein Würstchen, würde ich sagen, und sparen unsere Energien für morgen. Und dann greifen wir mal an, ein Testtag sozusagen haben wir vor uns, wo wir alles in die Waagschale werfen müssen, um rauszufinden, wie das hier läuft am Wasser.
Ja, wie sie ticken und wir schaffen das schon.
Ja. Du kümmerst dich da erstmal um Hecht, ich mache ein bisschen Zander.
Hecht ist meine Nummer. Hecht sieht auch ein bisschen schwieriger aus, glaube ich. Ne? Hecht ist, glaube ich, der Fisch, wo es hier scheitern könnte. Barsch und Zander sehe ich nicht so das Problem, aber ja, wir werden unser Bestes geben und ja, werden berichten.
Genau, morgen mehr vom Boot, jetzt nochmal kleine Stärkung und dann geht's los. Und schon ganz heiß. Ne?
So ist es.
Das packen wir mal wieder weg erst.
Unsere Strategie wird heute sein, relativ flach mit größeren, grellen Ködern probieren Hecht zu fangen. Ja, es ist relativ windig, aber wie gesagt, heute müssen wir es rausfinden, wie es funktioniert, weil morgen beginnt der Wettkampf.
Vom Startpunkt im Hafen Wilhelmsdorp fahren Dirk und Birger zunächst an das Nordufer des Hollandsdiep. Hier angeln sie sich im Flachwasser am Ufer entlang, in der Hoffnung, die Standplätze der Hechte ausfindig zu machen. Mit großen Gummifischen und leichten Bleiköpfen wird eine Drift nach der anderen angesetzt, bis Dirk den ersten Biss bekommt. Und der kann sich gleich sehen lassen.
Ja, guter Hecht eingestiegen. über einen Meter habe ich so im ersten Moment erkennen können. Ja, über einen Meter, da kommt, ne?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's 2 minutes before time, and then we blow the whistle and blow the horn, and then it's end of competition. I think it's a pretty successful tournament, even though if it's not like the normal tournament. But hey, it is what it is. I did my best to give all participants, partners and sponsors a tournament after all. It's crazy times with the COVID crisis going on. And especially for the Netherlands, it's stepping up as we speak, but it is what it is. I hope I can give you guys for next year a new tournament. We plan our tournament in the Netherlands for in the beginning of June. That's always the first weekend after season's opening in the Netherlands. We have a closed seasons for the predator fish, and as soon as that's always on the last Saturday of May, and right after that weekend we have the Predatortour, and for 2021 that's 3, 4 and 5 of June. So let's hope we can leave the corona crisis behind us and be back at the Biesbos Europarks and do it in the real time. Even though I think from my side it was pretty successful. This online was a step up. We will do all future events in the live streaming. I hope we can do all the streaming for real, with real camera guys, with real streams, much more with the participants and not bringing in the movies. Movies is fine, commercials are fine, but I think it's all has to do with the participants. But we understand that they are busy with fishing, and the whistle blows, and then
End of competition.
End of competition. Well, that was the end of the competition for 2020. From my side, thanks for watching. We have a short break for like 45, maybe 50 minutes. And we will be back at 5 o'clock, live streaming for the last time with the prize ceremony. So be back at 5 and watch the winning teams.
Be there.
For here and now, thank you for watching. And I see you guys in like 45, 50 minutes.
By the way, you can stop hammering.
It's over
tomorrow.
And done.
Okay. Thanks.